Live streaming somewhere. And here we are, and I'm going to hit record. And there we go. And let's get a little bit of startup music here going. It's those bells. Okay, here we go. We're streaming.
Woo!
Let's dance.
So you wanna be
So you want to be
a
a cool kid. When you see the cool kid I've got today, you won't believe this. He's lived 5 lifetimes already in his few years. I think you're the youngest cool dude ever, Amadeus N.
Set new records.
I love to set records. I love to break records too.
So you wanna be
We're streaming. Pop, 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 pop. Thank you very much. That is Serge Hoffman, my friend in Paris, who's a composer and musician, and he created the music. Those are my lyrics. So you want to be. I'm Bonnie D, and I'm very, very, very happy to be here with a friend, a new colleague who came to me through another friend and colleague, and we'll just leave her name out of it for now. Amadeus, welcome to Cool Dude. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me. I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm doing just fine. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get started with my opening here and let's see where we go with it. So, listen up, everybody. This is very special. Okay. You may know us. Well, Bonnie D and Amadeus N. Nunaley, too. Seasoned in life? Well, he's not as seasoned as I am, but he's up there. We love what we do. From social channels, virtual embrace, we're sharing insights in this very special place. Now, here on We Dish, we're here to play, lightening up life in our uniquely fresh way, welcoming Amadeus, I love your name, and a truly cool dude. Here's my rhyming intro. He'll add more with attitude. Here we go. Born in water's calm embrace in 94's glow, Amadeus began where the gentle ripples flow. In old Hickory's echoes, a Civil War home stood where stories in stillness shaped a boy's good. Homeschooled with wonder, co-ops now and then, he found joy in reading the why, the how, and the when. English, history, science of mind and the earth, each page an idea, expanding his worth. A ball, a bat, a field, a court, his stage. From baseball to hockey, he tested each age. By 11, Amadeus vowed with racket in hand to serve dreams of tennis across every land. At 14, he balanced 2 worlds side by side, high school and college with intellect and pride. Work at the college bookstore and landscaping green taught him how persistence keeps minds sharp and keen. And D&D dungeon master by passion with dice and with lore, he built realms of courage where imagination soar. On southern tennis courts he rose, his ranking climbing high, competing through states where the fiercest would vie. But fate dealt a setback, an arm torn in pain. Surgery followed, yet his strength rose again. Allegheny College called, Amadeus, Amadeus, another chance to fight for study and sport, his true dual delight. I'm not even done. In classrooms of psychology and art history's hue, Amadeus found new paths when the old paths withdrew. Injury struck twice, yet through loss and repair, resilience rewove him with patience and care. Floods came, jobs called, new trials to face, but from hardship emerged his new creative space. With his mom, Mary, my dear friend, he built the Lavender Dragon team, turning learning to story to gamified gleam. Now an ATD certified teacher and craftsman of play, Amadeus shapes how we learn the modern way. Through AI and narrative, he helps minds engage where curiosity dances on a digital stage. He's co-authoring the Sententia anthology book about narrative and story in learning, a deep look. In learning and development, his passion takes aim where gamification sparks minds to retain and reclaim. Through tales and technology, his callings align, where learning meets story by thoughtful design. A traveler, a reader, and a cat-loving knight, he finds wonder in Tolkien and Lovecraft's night. From Stonehenge to stories, from quests to song, Amadeus proves learning is a journey lifelong. What'd you think?
I love that. I've never had my backstory poemified before. It's fantastic.
I'm glad. And I'm going to finish this with We're Here on We Dish, chatting on life's score, culture, music, food, and so much more. Join us live or on demand, day or night. We won't be here. And enjoy our dishing with shared delight. That's why they invented on demand. Meet us for real in our live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are, you know? We Dish, Two Saucy Dame, and Cool Dude too, Bonnie D and Amadeus N, dishing on life's fun. Poor Vu. So, how'd I do?
Really good. Like it. Like it a
Good.
lot.
I'm glad. Did you know that you had a whole life story in rhyme like that?
I didn't, I gave you all the bullet points for that, and I was like, well, I wonder what she's gonna do with it. I was not expecting a full put together poem. I love it.
There you go. I'm glad. I'm very, very glad. I do that for my guests, and I call that a gift from my guests, and I'm very happy. And I did have some help from my friend. You know who she is, Sylvie. And we speak in French, and she tells me bisous, bisous, and thank you. And she tells me go out and use your energy, Bonnie D, and light up the world with your podcasts and bring joy. And that's what I'm trying to do. So we work together, and I'm going to tell Sylvie how much you loved it. So let's go on. Anything you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to emphasize, Amadeus? Anything I missed or didn't spend enough time on? Hmm?
No, I think you did great with all that.
Okay. I'm wondering where our names are on. Oh, there we go. And the names disappeared on us underneath, but there we are. It's in the banner overhead. Zoom is being a little bit tempestuous this week. Okay, so let's move on to the part of the show where we talk about our favorite music. And how old are you now?
30, 31 next year.
Well, congratulations on reaching the 3 decades. You're you're
Thank you.
you're you're in the plus now, and you're almost a grown up. I don't consider anybody grown up till they reach about 40 or 50, so you're still a kid to me. But question is, your music tastes are probably very different from mine. So let's do some comparisons here. Why don't you tell us your top three, five, 10, 100 songs? No hurry, whatever you want to tell us, and then I'll tell you some of mine and see if you've ever heard of them. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I feel like first of all, I could not say my favorite songs without the first one being Rock Me Amadeus. That one, that's kind of a given. That's been a constant soundtrack of my life song.
You want to sing a
So
little? Can you hum a little bit? I remember that.
I can't sing the German parts, but I can sing Rock Me Amadeus.
Go ahead. Give us a little sample. Go ahead.
um, I mean, it's pretty much all in German except for the Rock Me Amadeus.
Okay.
So.
All right. Can you hum it?
Oh, 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 Amadeus.
I love it. I'm sure your mom is going to enjoy seeing
I'm
it.
I'm sure she's gonna love that too.
I'm sure she is. Thank you very much for that. Give me some more songs.
Okay, second would be they're an older metal band, but Eagle Heart by Stradivarius has always been kind of a pump up jam for me.
What is it about?
So it is a thematic song essentially about a man who is yearning for his dreams, and despite being set back and having giant mountains to climb, he has the heart of an eagle, so he will soar and keep going for that beautiful rainbow of what he aspires to.
I like that. I'm going to have to go listen to that. Give me some more songs. What do you like? What do you
Uh,
love?
Love this. This is another one completely shifting genres by a band called V&V Nation. It's a song called Fearless, and it is kind of a self-talk of the core component is I'm not alone, I'm not afraid, I'm not unhappy. These are the words I say to myself every day.
Oh, do you actually say them to yourself, or is that part of the song?
Part of the song, but I mean it's something that I sing very regularly. So
Say it again. Say it that line again for me.
I'm not alone, I'm not afraid, and I'm not unhappy.
I think I can start saying that because that's the way I feel. I'm not alone, I'm not afraid, and I'm not unhappy. Meaning I'm my own good company because I am alone. I'm not afraid and I am happy. Is that
Exactly.
I like that a lot. Thank you very much. I'm learning a lot. More songs? You got any more?
Um, those are probably my top three, but you could honestly throw um in terms of inspiring, touching as a history nerd, there's a band called Sabaton, and they extensively and only write about historical events, particularly like wars and battles that have happened, but usually with a more positive thing. So one of my favorite songs they have is about the during World War II, there was two fighters who one was struck and had engine troubles on the Allied side, and an Axis fighter saw that and guided him through Axis land to land, and then flew back out over no man's land. And they actually met, I think, 50 or 60 years later, and became best friends when they finally reunited after finding the war was over, and they were both in, I think, their 80s or 90s. They reconnected as,
Wow, quite a story.
yeah, one of my
Thank
favorite
you.
ones.
Thank you. Shall I tell you some of mine?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I'm going to switch this up a little. I usually do a whole bunch of Donna Summer titles, which are the story of my life. And I don't know if you ever heard of Donna Summer, by the
Oh
way?
yeah,
Oh, thank goodness gracious. Well, I'll do that after. But my songs go all over the place. Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
of
Why do you
course.
think I do this show? Come on. I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. Helen Reddy, no surprise. Here's one of my favorites, and I think you will appreciate this. Me and Bobby McGee, 1971, Janis Joplin. Her line was, Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Can you grab that?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Then a whole bunch here. Pat Benatar, hit me with your best shot. Oh, I've had people take shots at me. Not literally. Respect, Aretha Franklin,
Classic.
Respect. Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. I Will Survive. New Attitude, Patti LaBelle. I got a new attitude. I love that song. And now I'll give you the Donna Summer list. I was dancing and teaching disco before you were born, another part of the country. And her discography list, Amadeus, tells a lot about my life. So I'm just going to go along the songs. She works hard for the money. I do. Hot stuff. Usually it's about a streetwalker in LA, but I've been called hot stuff in my I never that's one job I never had. Probably a lot of them. On the radio, I still call this radio, even though we're video streaming. I still Bonnie Radio at Gmail's my email, so we know that. No More Tears, Enough is Enough, which was a duet with Barbara Streisand. No more. Enough is enough is enough. Sometimes I feel like saying that, but I go on. Last Dance. I don't teach dancing anymore, but I dance in the kitchen and I do the electric slide, the Macarena, and I dance a little bit. So I haven't had my last dance yet. I Feel Love, which had that wonderful Giorgio Moroder, that machining of that sound, that track, that back, that beat. I love that. I Feel Love. Sounded like he was on a rowing machine, you know. And the last one is Heaven Knows, which is from the MacArthur Park Suite. And interestingly enough, Richard Harris, the British singer and actor, recorded something called the MacArthur Park Suite. You know, it's the green is melting in the rain, and a beautiful song. Well, he recorded the suite, and then Donna Summer did a cover of it a few years later, and hers went higher on the charts than his original did. But Heaven Knows is a song in the middle of that suite that my partner Michael and I did a dance to we did a hustle dance in a disco Hawaii contest many, many decades ago at the Copa, which was not the New York nightclub, but one in Eugene, Oregon. And we came in third. We didn't know that the woman who came in first was a professional dancer with her own dance studio.
That'll do it. Gives you a little bit of a leg up.
We thought it was an amateur thing, and we had no idea. Well, Michael was a former Arthur Murray teacher, but we didn't know, he'd have his own studio. So we just had a lot of fun. So it's Heaven Knows just how much. And we came in opposite sides, and we had matching costumes. We sewed our own costumes. His mom did his shirt, and I did my top in a big black circle skirt. Big black satin circle skirt and fishnet stockings. I don't have to bore you with the details. And he lifted me up over his head, spun me around right out of Saturday Night Fever. And then I call it the death drop, right to the floor, 6 inches above the floor. And my skirt made a perfect circle. I didn't touch the floor. And then he set me on my feet. And then we did our routine. And it was lovely. Amadeus, I was working as a programmer analyst at the community college where I was working. And we were able to use one of the classrooms for our rehearsals. So when everything was cleared out, I think on Friday nights, I was able to get permission to go in and dance in the classroom. We put on a boombox or music and we danced, and it was a lot of fun. So that's why the Donna Summer discography, I hate that word, means a lot to me. And so any other music, anything your family likes, any music? Your mom's been on the show, but
Oh yeah. My
yeah.
my mom and I have always shared a lot of taste in terms of rock and metal music and dance as kind of our stuff. So honestly, Bon Jovi, Aerosmith, Poison, Kiss, we've seen half of those live and are all ones that we listen to regularly anyway. And
Wow.
usually I'll introduce her to my music. I will say what you just said reminded me there is I don't know if you ever heard it, but there's a genre called electro swing, which is where they bring back basically big band, brass, and swing music, but set it a lot more to like modern rhythms and like synths and electronic music.
Hmm.
And one song I really like is by an artist named Perov Stellar, and it's "Clap Your Hands," and it samples "Doing the Jive" from I think 1930 with a very fun upbeat mix. And I'm very fond of electro swing. It's very good sound.
Well, I used to teach Lindy. People call it Lindy Hop, Lindy the Swing, not the East Coast, not the West Coast swing. It was the East Coast swing. West Coast swing is a whole different animal, and I tried to do that. It's very complicated. I've done it, but not great. But East Coast swing, Lindy Hop, I taught that. I've taught disco, line dances, swing, cha-cha. It used to be mambo, now it's salsa, and very, very interesting. So when you say swing, it just brings back so many memories. We used to have in Eugene, there was a hotel that used to have tea dances on Friday afternoons where people would come about 4 or 5 o'clock after work and they would put on all kinds of music. I went with Michael, my partner. I met him there and some other people, and we would just dance. You didn't have to wear gloves and fancy shoes or anything like that, but it was a little more on the formal side, and dancers from all over the city came. And it was really, really lovely. So swing brings me back. Yeah, there's so much music that was great in the old days. We also had, I had at one time, I had a TV show called Something to Talk About on Long Island Cable TV, and there was I think it was a 16-piece swing band, and I invited them to my studio, my little studio. We set up some kind of risers, and the band came with the trumpets and the clarinets and the saxophones, and the band leader, who was a friend of mine, and his wife, who was the singer, and they performed in my studio. I
That's so
broke
cool.
I broke the barriers. Let me tell you. I once had you're gonna love this. I once had I think it was a 14-piece, um, harmonica group. Seriously, from Long Island come, and they filled the whole studio with harmonicas of all shapes and all sizes, little ones, tiny ones, big ones, and they performed on the show. I didn't believe in one guest sitting on a couch and having a conversation. I just said, "Bring it on." I just invited people, but you're bringing me back to some of that lovely music. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
You're
Let's
welcome.
go to it's time for Off the Top, Fast and Furious. So let me start out. This is a conversation, not an interview. So I'm going to start out with a topic. I'll ask you to put in your input on this, and then I'll tell you mine. And I'm enjoying talking to you very much, by the way. Okay, first one, your creativity superpower. What is it? What do you love about it? What do you not love about it? What do you think?
I'd say, excuse me.
Okay,
Breathe. Yeah,
you,
swallowed spit down the wrong pipe.
you got
Whew.
water? Got water?
Yeah, have tea. Next best
Tea.
thing.
I have tea. Okay, get your tea. I'll get my water. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Good.
I would say my superpower is I can really hone in and get things working once I know what they're supposed to do. Usually to the detriment of everything else once I'm focused in. It's that hyper lock where suddenly it can be like, oh, 4 hours later, I forgot to eat or drink, but I got this thing working.
What's the downside of that? The fact that you forgot to eat or drink?
And sometimes it's that because I'm so focused, I will overlook certain things or kind of get too perfection focused on it, and suddenly it's like, well, that probably could have been done good enough in 2 hours, but I spent 5 because I wanted to get it just perfect.
That's part of that focus, that honing in. I think that's the creative spirit. That's what I call it, is where you're so immersed in a challenge, in
Hmm.
something that either you haven't done before or you haven't done well before, or somebody else did and you want to do it as well as, if not better than they do, something like that. Can you give a name to that? Would you call it hyper focus, or what would you call it?
Yeah, I would say kind of like a hyper focus because like once that's the thing, nothing else is like that is going to get 100% brain power to figure out and make sure it works.
Authors, I have a lot of authors on my Monday night, the creativity show, we call it, and they talk about being in the zone when they're
Mhm.
writing. Nothing else. Sorry, kids, you'll have to take,
Yep.
crackers for dinner. And sorry, husband or wife, whoever you are, go get your own newspaper, and I'll see you in bed tomorrow morning. I'm busy. I'm writing the 19th chapter of my 51st novel. I have people who've written 20, 30, 40 novels. And there's something about that zone.
Hmm.
Would you call that your zone?
Yeah, once the kind of like it can be hard to get into, but once the juices start flowing, the creative juices start flowing, and it's coming out, then there's no stopping that train. It's got to be done.
Absolutely. I've done that. I know what you're talking about. And there's a joy in you're almost going into another place, another not just a zone, but another world. And
Yeah,
all you can focus on is doing that, whether you do it right or wrong or well or not so well, it still is all that you can encompass, right? All you can wrap yourself around. It's a
definitely.
it's an interesting place. You know what my superpower is?
What?
Getting people comfortable enough to trust me and talk to me. And the downside, I haven't figured out the downside yet. It's just people come on my shows. I've got 5 different series now, and they're willing to talk to me, and they're willing, and people like you, wonderful people like you, smart, creative people like you, are willing to share their life story, their origin story, which most people haven't written, and they're willing to let me give them the gift of their story in rhyme. So I think that's my superpower. What do you think?
Yeah,
Is
I'd
it?
agree. That seems pretty on the point.
Thank you. Okay, good. So let's go on to the next topic. The next topic is this is really important, really important. I have to ask this to you, and then I'll tell you mine. How do you start your day in terms of food or drink? What fuels you, powers you, gets that engine started? You want to share that?
Sure. So I would say probably 5 to 6 days out of the week, I start my morning off with a giant mug of tea.
Cute.
And on the 2 other days, it's probably some coffee. Um, and most mornings, it is tea for the first 2 or 3 hours, then some potatoes and eggs, and
Hold
that's my
on.
day.
What kind of potatoes? What kind of eggs? We got to know. We got to know.
So lately, I have been making some really delicious cube the potatoes up into like inch cubes, and I've been hitting them with some garlic, truffle powder, black garlic, salt, pepper, and a touch of some fresh herbs. And that has been, oh, those have been so good every morning.
Truffle powder. What is it? Where do I get it? What does it taste like? Please.
Um, so truffles are usually very expensive,
Oh, yeah.
obviously. But I can't remember who it is. It's one of our, not Pampered Chef, but another spice company.
Okay.
But they sent us a black truffle like seasoning,
Is it
and
Penzies?
yeah, I think it is Penzies.
I get my spices and herbs from Penzies too. Okay, go
So
ahead.
good.
Little ad
Um,
for Penzies. Go ahead.
but they have a truffle that it has this nice earthy richness to it without being too savory, but it's this nice, just almost earthy umami to it that's really good. And then the garlic, a little bit of we have some rosemary, thyme, and some basil that we've grown. So depending on the day, but get those there. Maybe some cheese and some eggs. Oh, it's so good, so savory.
Really? And eggs, scrambled, omelet, over easy?
Scrambled. If I'm feeling very motivated, I'll attempt an omelet. Although sometimes that just becomes scrambled eggs with some extra things in it. But I'll attempt the omelet. Usually that's just some salt, pepper, maybe a little garlic powder, maybe. A little bit of cheese. Put that over. Oh, perfect, easy breakfast.
Very, very nice. Any bread or toast or muffins or rolls or anything with it?
Sometimes we'll have. I'm an English muffin enjoyer.
Me
So
too. Wait a
if
minute.
we
What's your favorite kind of English muffin? Do you get the pumpkin? Do you get the blueberry? Do you get the buttermilk? Do you get the original? What do you like?
original, and I think the last time I got a special one, it was the cinnamon raisin,
Oh, okay. I like the
and that
buttermilk ones. I get the buttermilk ones, which are really soft. I like the soft ones.
yeah, nice and soft. You either have them on the side with some toast, or we'll put the egg and maybe a little like ham or something on there and have our own little English muffin for breakfast. Oh, so good.
Have you been looking in my kitchen window? I just had one of those for dinner the other night. I get deli ham that's already sliced in a package. They call it
hmm
good to go or whatever, grab and go, they call it. And they don't always have the same kind of ham. Sometimes it's the wildflower, sometimes it's the honey maple, sometimes it's the plain, sometimes it's just the roasted Virginia baked ham. I never know what flavor I'm going to get, but whatever the package is within the price of what I want, how big, how many slices and what I want to pay that week. Usually about $5 for a pack. It lasts me a couple of days, a week. And I took I've just learned how to do over easy broken eggs instead of I usually like sunny side eggs, but since the egg scare a couple months ago,
Hmm.
I stopped doing that. So I'll put the egg in the pan and then I'll gently with a fork break the yolk and mix it up. My mom used to call it a crazy mixed up egg, and then flip it, and then I'll put that on a lightly toasted English muffin buttermilk, and then I put a piece of ham. You know what I did? I put the ham on top of the egg when I turned the egg, Amadeus, and then I flipped it over so the ham was on the bottom of the pan and it heated up just a little bit. And then I flipped it over onto the English and I cut it in half so I had two halves. It was a lot. It was really a
Yeah.
lot. One egg, one slice of ham, and the two pieces of the English muffin. It was filling.
Yeah,
It
that's a nice start to your day. It's all you really need.
really is. Well, it's a good dinner too when you have nothing else in mind. You want to know how I start my day?
Sure.
Okay, I think everybody who watches this show knows already. I start out with a banana milkshake. I have an individual blender that takes about, 12 ounces or so, and it's a plastic cup with the measurements on the side, a little motor. I have one in white, I have one in red. I burn them out real fast. I use them once or twice a day. It's a Hamilton Beach individual, and I bought one for a friend for a birthday gift years ago, and he didn't like it and gave it back to me. And I said, well, I'm not going to throw it out. I mean, it was like 16 bucks
Yeah.
at Sears. So I started using it. Well, I've got about 12. I've burned out through about 12 of them. Not that many, but I'll put in 8 ounces of 1% milk. I don't like skim and I don't want the full milk. I'd love it, but I'm trying not to. A squirt of raw agave syrup. You know what agave syrup is? It
Hmm.
comes, and you know what you do with the bottle, that beautiful plastic bottle with the little opening on top? When it's done, you clean it out and I use it to water my plants on my windowsill because you can just squeeze it and it squirts just a little instead of a whole big glass of water or a measure or a watering can. I just go and so I use them for watering for the plants anyway. And then I'll add a banana. And if you ever go to Food Lion here where I live, you will see a lady with red hair and a black dress and red boots in the produce department looking on the one side of the banana aisle and the other and back and forth about until she gets 7 to 9 bananas every week. They can't be too green. They can't be mottled. They can't be dotted. They can't be brown. They can't be bruised. They can't have cuts in them. And that's me. So I can take 10 minutes to buy my only one. People are going, I'll pick up three of these, four of these. No, I need these. I need, well, that's not yellow enough. That's right. Anyway, so it's banana. If it's a small banana, the whole thing. If it's a medium, very large banana, maybe half. And then a handful of frozen sliced strawberries, unsweetened. I buy a great big bag, keep them in the freezer. Handful, feels cold, put them in the blender. And sometimes a little shake of ginger powder and sometimes a little bit of cinnamon. And if I'm really in a good mood, I'll add some dry cocoa powder or I'll add a little vanilla ice cream, but don't tell anybody. And then I blend it, and you know what? I've turned it into a meditation session. This is a pulse blender. It's not an on-off, so you've got to hit the button.
Yeah.
So I will talk to whomever this power is, and I will say, I'm thinking of, and I'll name my family. I'll name some of my close friends. I'll say to the people I know who need some help, think of them. And I've turned it into a medit. I don't know. I'm sitting there alone in my kitchen going and talk about so and so, and I'll name the relatives, and I'll name my granddogs and Amos and Jake, and it's a nice. So that's what I do. And then I have a reusable plastic straw that I have the wonderful pipe cleaner that goes all the way down and all that, and I rinse it out, and then I take the cap off the blender and I take it into my office and I drink it while I'm working. So that's my morning. What do you think?
Sounds nice. Sounds like a nice little ritual to start your day off.
It is. It's turned into a ritual, and I really appreciate that. Let's see what we want to talk about next. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. If you were a superhero, this is a new one. I've added this recently. If you were a superhero, what would your name be? What would you do?
That's a tough one.
Mm. Want to come back to that?
Yeah, let's come back to that. Let me think
Okay.
about that for a little
I
bit.
just added that. That's an interesting one. I was hired years ago by Newsday, the Long Island newspaper, to interview the candidates for, I think it was Long Island executive something or other. And it was just before 9/11. That I remember it very well. And I was given a staff photographer and we went to speak to these two men. One of them is still in politics and he's risen up through the ranks in New York. And the other one, yeah, I think they're both politics and government and statewide. And I was I was asked to create an interview that was different, up close and personal. So one of the things I asked them was, and I looked up online what kinds of questions, and I won't ask you these, but one was if you had to leave your home in the next 15 minutes, and I gave you a box that was 24 inches by 20, no, 18 inches by 18 inches by 18 inches, what would you take with you that you absolutely had to have? No, I'm not asking you that, but I'm just telling you the question. If you
Yeah.
want to answer it, that's fine. Another one was, if you were a superhero, what would it be and what would your power be? And another one was, what's your either your spirit animal or your spirit car? And when I got to the box question, one of the candidates who had kept me waiting a half hour, he was in meetings and he went out and ordered a lemonade for me, which was really nice. It was really good, a big one with a straw. He had to call his wife. And he said to her, honey, I have this reporter here, and she's asking me, what would I put in the box? And she's telling him what he, and his name is in national politics right now. I'm not going to mention him, but very nice man. But we had quite a laugh. And he said, "What would I put in that box?" Because he had no idea what I was asking. And she told him what he would. The family pictures and skip the cell phone and the house keys and all that good stuff. So
I
that
don't
was
need
very.
those.
That was very, very interesting. So when I came up with those questions, that's where I came up with the wacky type of thing. So superhero was one of those questions. So I'll give you something I hope is a little bit easier. It's not a test. What is something you lost, broke, sold, gave away, or just can't find that you wish you still had?
Oh, there's a couple things. I would definitely say just from a wish I had it still. I used to have an N64 back from when I was a kid, and that was the old Nintendo 64, and I wish I still had that to this day. Like that my sister had it, then I had it, and I wish we still had those. They got lost in a move somewhere, and that was such a shame. And another thing would be I had a box of cufflinks that my grandfather I got from him when he passed away.
Really?
And I they were like old school like gold plated cufflinks.
Oh,
And I don't know if they got lost when I was at college or if someone nicked them because they liked them, but at one point that box and like some of them went missing. And I've always been super bummed that I was never able to find some of those because they were just lovely little cufflinks from my grandfather.
would you wear them? Would you have a shirt with the
I did
holes?
actually wear them pretty regularly when I wore button
Really?
ups.
See, now that you've mentioned it, I'm going to be woo woo here. You've put it out to the universe. You might find them again. It's possible. I what have I lost that I miss? I had a wonderful car and I was in a spin out accident that I should not even be here. It was beyond a miracle that I survived. Nobody hit me, nobody beeped, nobody rescued me. I went across 3 lanes of traffic at 75 miles an hour in Durham in the pouring rain when one of my my tires failed, and the car just spun across traffic, and somehow it's like the sea opened and let me go across, and I was impaled on the guardrail in the middle, facing traffic 6 inches from the high-speed lane, and nobody stopped, and I'm watching cars go by, and the motor was still running and the lights were still on.
That's crazy.
But I missed that car because the back rear panel, the right side passenger panel was totaled, and the insurance company just said, "That's it. You can't take the car back. It'll take too much to fix it." But I went and I cried and I took pictures of it, and then I found another one. It was a 370Z, and it was gorgeous, white with red leather, and it was just beautiful. So anyway, I missed that car, and there's nothing I can do about it. But as far as things, I had a little keychain. I'm a Libra, and I had a little keychain with this metal thing, that metal charm, if you will, that had raised letters, Amadeus, with what Libra means. I tell people I'm fair, but I've never claimed to be balanced. We'll leave that one alone. But don't fault me for that. Not a political statement, please, kids. But I lost it, and I was working in Eugene, Oregon, and I was a programmer for a big I don't know, a data center. And I was doing programming in, what was I doing in PL1 on IBM 4341 and mainframe. And it was a great job. And I lost this and I couldn't find it. And it just meant something to me. Oh, it wasn't that important. But a couple days later, after a rainstorm, I was at work in the parking lot and I went in to do my job and I needed something in the car. And I walked outside and the sunlight was gleaming on the rear bumper. It was an Oldsmobile uh, Cutlass Brougham, fancy car, big blue striping on the side. I bought it used. It was beautiful. And the metal bumper on the back, something caught my eye. And tucked inside the bumper, Amadeus, the bumpers turned around like this. They curved around and there was a like a little shelf inside.
Hmm.
Inside that bumper, my charm was there. It
That's
was
crazy.
like it was calling me. It had been there riding along with the car for almost a week. And I had no idea. It must have dropped off the keychain when I went in to get something in the trunk, and I never heard it drop, and I couldn't find. So that was something that actually came back to me. So I think your grandpa's. I think those are gonna. I think those are gonna come back to you. I think that's. You want to talk about this superhero yet, or are you still thinking about it?
I am awful with names. I will
Okay.
put that out there right
Well,
now.
describe them. Would it be like a Spider-Man, or would it be like a climbs tall buildings, or would it be flies over people are trying to do learning and with would it be the dragon? Would you be the one that would you ride on the back of the lavender dragon? Would that be a superhero?
I think that that would probably be more fitting, depending on your universe. If we're talking magic is allowed, then it's definitely someone who is rides on a dragon and uses some magic for things.
There
Would
you
would be how I do it. Otherwise, it would probably be related to water in some way.
What in what way?
Probably kind of like a Spider-Man had back, depending on the run of like his some of his spider powers, where like little web slingers. It might have like little water blasters or something that you would take care of because you can that's the cool thing, you can double. Yeah, you can knock someone over, you can also clean up the town, you can help things out, you could fly if you have
Oh,
enough water pressure.
yes.
So one of those two I think would be pretty fitting for me.
I like that. I would just be the redhead talker. That was it. I'd just be a superhero, and I would fly in where people are having trouble having a conversation, and I would give them a way to start a conversation, not an interview and not an interrogation, but just a way for them to talk to each other. What do you think? Could I do that?
Yeah, that sounds fitting for you.
Okay, good. Let me see what's happening here. I think. Hold on, 1 second. All right. Okay. I'm answering the phone. Hello. Listen, I'm live streaming here with my wonderful, very young guest today, Amadeus. What can I do for you? Who is this? Steven Spielberg? Seriously? James Cameron? Martin Scorsese? Clint Eastwood? Where are you? You're having brunch? It's too early for brunch. I know you're somewhere in Hollywood. Wait a minute. Zemeckis, Guy Ritchie, is that Christopher Nolan? I hear a woman's voice. Shonda Rhimes? Wait a minute. Is that Aaron Sorkin? Michelle and Rob? What do you want? Well, okay, you're watching the show. Amadeus, they're watching you. And you want Amadeus to pick he's waving at you. I hope you can see. You want one of him to pick one of you as a director, and you want to make either a film or a TV show. He gets to choose. Not his biopic, not about him, but the lead character is going to be based on his life, the tennis, the learning, the sports, the Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so you're going to create a character. We don't know who's going to write the screenplay, but okay, now you want him to pick the director and the genre: drama, fantasy, musical, romance, comedy, sci-fi, thriller, action, whatever. You want him to pick the title of, is it a TV or a movie? And you want him to pick the actor who would play that character. That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. You know what? I'm going to have to get back. Seth MacFarlane is there too? K- Lorne Michaels? No, we're not going to do a comedy. Okay, I tell you what, with all great respect, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. And I will get back to you. Amadeus is going to see if he can tackle this challenge, okay? And by the way, I'll tell you what I would like for mine. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Okay, all right, bye-bye. Okay, Amadeus, they're calling for you, and I took the call. So pick a director. Is it TV or a movie? What's the genre? The title? It's a lot to think about, but we really need to know.
Okay, well, I'd like to say I'm torn between two genres.
Okay.
I'm torn between comedy and horror.
Oh, I didn't
Those
even
are,
have horror. Wait a minute, I didn't even have horror in the
I
list. I had
guess you
thriller.
could put that under thriller. I mean, they're pretty close.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So who would you like to direct?
If
Good.
I had a comedy movie, I would want Mel Brooks to be my director.
Oh, be still my heart.
There's
Serious.
there's no one better in the comedy game in my eyes that I could have than Mel Brooks.
Wow. Okay. And what would it be called?
we'll just say tech support. I think that's a good
Tech support?
yeah, tech support I think would be a good show, a good comedy show title about
Wait a minute. Is it comedy or is it horror? Because you could
that one would be comedy. If it's Mel Brooks, this is the comedy for
you
sure.
could combine genres though.
You
We have
could. There
comedy
there are
drama.
certainly enough horror stories from being in tech
I
support.
think so. I think so. And who would be the lead character? Do you have a name for the character?
It has nothing to do with him looking like me, but give me Henry Cavill. Just give me Henry Cavill to be me. That works.
Okay, I think I know who he is. Okay, I'll have to look him up. All
He was
right.
Superman recently.
Okay, well that changes everything.
He
We're
was
all
also
sure
the Witcher, and he's a giant nerd. So I like.
we're all sure I know who actually the name sounds pretty familiar. I will look him up anyway. Interesting. And this is going to be a full-length movie or a
I
ongoing
think it would be a TV show. Would
t
be that
limited
would
series, 6 editions? You're going to go for 12 and first season.
probably for a season because you could have
Okay.
it be more. I think more episodic.
Okay. All right.
You just get to go through each episode as maybe one or two crazy things that happen as
You
this
want them to
character's.
you want them to hire you to be the screenplay writer? Would you like to do that?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, we never asked that before. That's very, very interesting. Would there be a music you like that would be a theme music, something that's existing?
I don't know if there'd be theme music, but I would be okay with a couple musical numbers in the episodes. That I think would be okay.
Okay, very,
Something a
very,
la Rocky Horror or Little Shop of Horrors would be
okay,
appropriate.
very cool. You're thinking a 30-minute sitcom or you're thinking a full hour show, which is
30 minute. You don't want it to get too long. 30
no,
minutes
I think
perfect.
so. You know, the comedian Leanne Morgan just released a new season of her comedy show, and it's exactly 19 minutes with no ads. 19 minutes. And you can just get in there. You can binge three of them in an hour, and you watch, a whole hour, and you're a third of the way through, quarter way through the season, and it was really, really fun. I like that. Mine would be a musical. And it would be either Bonnie Raitt or Reba McEntire would play the lead character, not me. And it would be directed by, I'd like Shonda Rhimes because I love the way her dialogue just goes so fast. And if you blink your eyes or your eyelash moves out of the way, you miss half of the dialogue in that scene. And I love the way people talk so fast and it just keeps going on and on and on. And Shonda always has a lot to say, and her characters have such emotion and such motivation and such passion. And I remember Scandal, and I'll never forget that. So anyway, that's I would have Shonda Rhimes do it, and it would be a musical comedy, and there'd be a little bit of playing. Reba McEntire recently started a show last year called Happy's Place, where she owns a bar she inherited from her late father, bar and restaurant. And unbeknownst to her, Daddy was fooling around with a woman nobody ever heard of. And there's a half sister who walks in and says, "Hi, I have an MBA in marketing and psychology, and I'm your half sister." And she has to learn how to deal with the half sister and all the people in the bar. So it was very interesting. But mine would be something like that, but it would take place in a classroom because I used to teach eBay buying and selling at adult ed, believe it or not, years ago when I was between jobs. And it would take place in a classroom where people brought they're no longer prized possessions they wanted to sell, and it would be involved with the backstories of the person who's selling it, the person who in the classroom setting would be the fictional buyer, because I do scenarios in my, you want to buy this from them. And I
Hmm.
set up a whole set that keeps people awake because the class went on until 10 at night. And everybody was really tired. There were doctors and lawyers and people who came after work, and it was long. So I had to come up with stories to keep everybody engaged. So that would be it. And it would take place in an adult ed classroom with probably 6 or 7. I had a PC lab, and each person had their own PC to get on and do their stuff on eBay. So it'd be 6 people in a lab, and there'd be some music, and Reba McEntire would be the teacher, and I would write the screenplay from all the things. And we talk about the object and where they got it and what it meant to them and why they were selling it and what the person who wanted to fictionally buy it, what their reason was. So that would be it. So what do you think? Would you watch something
That,
like that?
yeah, I probably, if I'm in the mood for a musical, I could see that.
What if we took the music out? Would you watch it anyway?
Yeah, I always like kind of episodic
Yeah.
anthology backstory stuff. That's always pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, we
And
could bring
pretty sure Reba lives in Nashville, so try and put you guys in touch.
I could, and you know what? It could be where a character shows up in a later episode with something else to sell, or somebody returned it. And the question is, would you take it back because it wasn't what I thought I was buying? I mean, it could be based on some real eBay things.
See, I think if you mix one episode in there that's like a cursed antique that's being sold, then you have my full attention.
Antique Roadshow type. Okay. You got it. I'll work on that. Okay, Shonda, we got our job to do. Okay. I think we've covered all of those and it's time now. Let me get rid of the sharing of the music and sharing is open. We are now this is very important, Amadeus. You have to say this the right way or we can't continue on the show. It's really important. I'm going to tell you what the next segment is, and I need to know if you can say it just right. Say what?
Say what?
Did you rehearse that?
No, I just came to me.
Spontaneity. Wow, that's what's another superpower of yours. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let you go first. You have three stories. You want to do all three, and you have anything you want to share on the screen because I'm going to share mine. I have some images in mind. So what would you like to do? Sharing is open.
Mine doesn't have too many images with it,
Okay.
except for, I mean, technically there is a squirrel on a jet ski, which,
Okay.
people if people want to see a squirrel on a jet ski, who am I
Yeah,
to
why
say
don't you
no?
show that one? Why don't you share? Do that one first, and I'll let you do all three of your stories, and I'll do mine. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Share that. Okay, does that work?
Oh, yes.
So this is the one of the first stories I found, which is apparently this is a long line of squirrels that perform on jet skis at
Get
the
out.
North Carolina Fair.
Get out. This is
And
real? It's not
this
AI?
this is real.
Oh my goodness.
This was October 6th. Um, he is. They have apparently when the
Twiggy.
squirrel was adopted in 1979, as the first Twiggy was adopted in 1979, and eight water skiing squirrels have retired before the current Twiggy.
I, how would you even train a squirrel to get them to
I
do that?
I don't know how you train a squirrel to jet ski, but
To do
I abs
anything? How
I
do you train a
absolutely
squirrel to
love
do
it.
anything? I do too. That's fascinating. Wow. Where'd you find the story? Was a news item? A
It was
news
it was
story?
a news item on UPI, and I
Okay.
was specifically looking for some fun and happy stories because the news is far too sad most of the time. So
Chaotic.
when I saw water skiing squirrel, I said,
That's it.
yes, that's
That's
what people
it.
need to know about.
Okay. You got any more? Or you got a couple
Yeah,
more
I
stories?
got
Go ahead.
two more. So
Please.
the next one up is an AI company in London has been to try and get people more invested in the environment and connecting with trees. They have connected bioelectrical signals that let you talk to the tree, and it basically reads all of the electrical impulses from the tree as the brain, and it talks to you. So currently, they've hooked up some of them to where one of the trees, when asked, says, "Your care warms me. More stable temperatures and consistent moisture would help. Thank you for asking."
Oh,
And
so
so
sweet.
they just want to make people care a little bit more, and what better way to make them care than giving a voice to the trees.
Is it a special kind of tree? Do they select what kind of trees do they do this for?
Currently they are getting it to work, it looks like on any tree, as long as it's big enough. It says they fed insights about the tree's lifespans and histories alongside data from biosensors that record metrics such as wind speed, temperature, and soil moisture. And then the AI takes all of that and reads the impulses and gives it verbal form so we can speak with the trees.
I love it. There is an old song from the classics way long ago. I don't know if your mom would remember it. I talk to the trees, but they don't listen to me. You can go find it. It might be from the Irving Berlin era, way back in the day. So, yeah, I used to apologize to a tree on the lawn at the house where I was growing up when I'd come home from school and I'd be carrying my books. Junior high was a couple blocks away up a big hill, and I would come home and I think I would be thinking about something. I'd walk on the lawn, and once in a while I'd bump into the tree on my way around the corner to go into the front door. And I would say, I'm sorry. would always apologize to the tree, and the tree would say, "That's okay, you're excused, no problem." Yes, I know. We had conversations. Yeah,
Right,
I told you I was fair but not balanced. Okay, I just proved it to you. Okay, and what's your third story?
And the very last one is in Chile. The desert has turned into a flower carpet. After many years of drought in an arid region, the conditions all hit with the right amount of acidity or soil texture, rain. The seeds germinated and everything else, and they actually had a rare bloom in the Atacama Desert that has transformed one of the world's driest places into a carpet of fuchsia-colored
Do you have a
wildflowers.
picture of that? I want to see it. Any chance?
The article, let me see if they have. Hold on, that's an ad.
Yeah, I would love to see a picture before I share mine. I have a picture on all three of mine, which I think you're going to enjoy. And one of my stories is very aligned to your squirrel story.
Let's see. Come on, ad,
Anything?
please go away so I can show the
No
flower.
pressure.
Oh, here we go.
Good. I want to
We
see
do
it.
have it's so here they have the entire area has apparently been blooming. There we go.
How pretty.
So I would love to go see something like that. That'd be amazing to see just that spark of color and life in the desert is
Desert.
always
There's the
wonderful.
pink. There's the pink. I see it. Oh, how pretty. Chilean flowering desert, unique in the world.
And I'm not sure, how
I
frequently
see.
this happens, but I assume this is a pretty rare in terms of actually everything sprouting, since everything it says needs to
I would think
hit
so.
just the right amount of everything for it to happen.
Beautiful, beautiful. I've got to move my screen over here a little bit so I can get out of this. There we go. Okay, good. I'm going to share. Let me go into share now and let me share screen and let me share, let's see, desktop to Microsoft Word. I'm going to see if this will work. It split the screen and got a little weird last time I tried it, but let's try this and let's try share. And can you see my screen? Yes?
Yep.
Okay, and here we go. Wait, yes, it came up. Okay, this I think you will enjoy. A man found his golden retriever giving a baby koala a piggyback ride in his backyard. And the bullet points are this is just a couple weeks ago, last week. A dog, this is Australia, of course. A
Of
dog and a
course.
koala formed an unlikely bond. Denny, a golden retriever, gave a baby koala a piggyback ride. The article was captured a new definition of piggyback. The owner of not the koala, but the retriever, Steve Lamplow, shared photos on Facebook, which went viral. He decided to gently remove the baby koala and placed it in a nearby tree for the mother, and the mother did come and collect the little Joey. And the
Oh,
caption is, "Who knew koalas and dogs?" Isn't that a beautiful
that's
picture?
so adorable.
Isn't that adorable? And no idea how. And apparently koalas are very common in their yard. So this is not like it traveled 100 miles to get there. And that's a picture and the credit is for Steve. I thought you would enjoy that one.
Love
And then
that.
the next one is, I think you'll like this too, grapevine waste turned into plastic that biodegrades in 17 days. And that's a picture of the plastic. Can you believe this? The researchers found that in the US found that disposed grapevine canes, they can make it into a plastic-like material that's stronger than plastic and decomposes in less than 3 weeks. A professor at the Department of Dairy and Food Science at South Dakota State University, who said they never did anything there. I'm sorry, I made that up. The team used underutilized grapevine prunings as a cellulose source, Amadeus, for packaging films and to enhance the, okay, to address the global issue of plastic pollution. They said that they're developing a plastic-like bag that can decompose naturally in the environment, and they've already extracted plastic from avocado peels, banana peels, alfalfa, switchgrass, and spent coffee grounds. Interesting?
That's really interesting.
Yep. And another professor, Professor Ann Fennell, a PhD at the Department of Agronomy, Horticulture, and Plant Science, told him about her idea, and they just said it was. So look at this. So testing showed that films made from this grapevine canes had tensile or tensile strength stronger than traditional plastic bags and completely degraded in 17 days. And that's pretty darn clear, isn't it?
Yeah, like that. If that's a great step that we could make.
I think so. And the last one, I thought you'd get a kick out of this, is they found A sun hat that the Romans were wearing 2,000 years ago, and it's considered the world's best preserved example. It's likely made by a Roman military member after the conquest of Egypt following Cleopatra's death in 30 BCE. Wool hats like this, Amadeus, were used by soldiers to keep cool in the harsh desert climate. Although it resembles coverings from the Roman Empire around 200 CE, it seems to have been adapted to help its wearer weather the Egypt's sun and sandstorms. The hat can be viewed at Bolton's Egypt Gallery until September. Well, I guess that's already passed. And they say it's an incredible moment for Bolton. This was the England's Bolton Museum. Incredible for them to display such a rare and well-preserved item from ancient Egypt. It's remarkable. It tells a global story, and it also reminds us of the power museums have to inspire future generations right here in England's Bolton Museum. Is that a cool hat?
That is crazy. It's crazy how much it looks like a pith like helmet too. After
Doesn't it? And
so many
here's the
years,
thing.
that same design has just like we're
And this,
fighting, we're somewhere hot, and we need a hat that
yeah.
keeps it away from us.
And the story, I don't know what the original color was. The story doesn't tell, unfortunately, who found it and what condition it was in. They said it's well preserved, but was it in a box? Was it in a tomb? Was it in something deep underground? I don't know where they found it. Only three of these hats have been found, by the way. Only three. So I thought you would. That's my say. What? Yeah. So I have one more thing. We're just about done, and it's just been absolutely delightful talking to you and with you. Question. If a really young guy, younger than you, or let me flip this around. What if an older gentleman comes to you and says, Amadeus, I saw you on Bonnie D's show. You are a cool dude. How would I become a cool dude like you? What advice would you give them?
Ooh, so I would say, um, first of all, make sure you're always pursuing what you enjoy in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't need to be super meaningful, in the grand scheme of things or what other people might consider that. But I think living in a way where you are following at least some of your passions when you can leads to a much better time.
So even for a person who's older than you, who's older than 30, they could start,
Even
they could
older than 30, way up there at old
they
40.
they could start well. What if a 40 or 50-year-old man came to you and said, I like the way you spoke, I like the way you think, I like the things you do, and my life is a little on the boring and drudgery side. How would I become a cool dude? You could say, find something you're passionate about,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, that's I think it's very important that whatever your hobbies or passions are, that's reading, building something with your hands, gardening, doesn't really matter. But don't get so caught up in needing to just do the mundane or the mind and grind or feel like you're forced to do something. I mean, it's important to follow what you enjoy. It's we got one life here and that's however many years we have, so you might as well enjoy
That's what we've
what you
been
have.
told. That's what we've been told. I don't know. I don't know. Some people I think have come back and caught me a couple of times. What about zoning out if they follow their passion? How about the joy of zoning while you're doing something you really love and you don't care about the clock and the
Oh yeah,
sunset?
like one,
Give yourself permission to zone out.
yeah, get in the flow. Really just embrace it. Don't think about other stuff, whether you need music on or something else, but just tune into what you're doing, push away the other thoughts, even if you've got a busy calendar. Try and make some time where you can just fully lean into what you're doing. Don't It's easy to get bogged down by, okay, I need to have dinner. What's tomorrow's plan? I got to go see
Yep.
her. I got to do this, see him, whatever. Just give yourself some time. Not even every day. I mean, I'd prefer it every day. But if you can't do it every day, at least a few times a week,
Time to
give
be.
yourself some time to do what you enjoy.
Just be.
And if that's
Absolutely.
just vegging out, staring out a window and drinking some tea, like that's fine too. But just give yourself some time to do something you really enjoy and
Or hitting the
don't feel bad about it. That's the
don't.
key part.
Or just putting the pulse button on the blender and sending good wishes to all the people you love and care about. That could
Yeah, it
be.
doesn't whatever brings you joy, if it
That's it.
sparks joy, then go ahead and give
That's
yourself
it.
some time to enjoy it.
That's it. And there's a creative element to this. I have a quote I do on one of my other shows about creativity. I don't know whether who it was, a famous writer said, go into do something creative. It doesn't matter if you write bad poems or you paint bad paintings. There's no such thing. Enjoy your own creativity. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to ask other people to judge it. Just do something. Just
Yeah.
do something. Think about something that's a little different. I don't know, wear your hair a little differently, or go put some outfits together, or make a different type of eggs with ham and English muffin for breakfast that you've never had before. Thank you, Amadeus, and thank you to me. That kind of thing. What I tell people, Amadeus, is there's a line in a Leonard Cohen song somebody quoted on one of my shows recently about the crack in the door, the crack in the window. Let the light in. See what's on the other side of that door. If the window's open a little, raise the window, let the air in. See, maybe there's an opportunity, maybe there's an idea, maybe there's something new you could be passionate about on the other side. If that door is open, just a little crack, push that damn door open and see what's on the other side. You've had quite a few careers or passions and pastimes in your brief 30 years. I think I've had my ninth career now. I have no idea how I got here. I was very shy growing up, but somehow I'm on the air 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a week now because my passion is talking to people, and I didn't know that. So
Yeah. And a lot of times you don't know what your passions are if you never try them out. You might think, oh, there's no way I could enjoy that. And then you try it and you go, wow, this is actually something I really like.
allow yourself to discover who you are and who you want to be. On that note, I'm going to play the outro music. So let's just dance our way out of here. Not very loud. Oh, you know why? You know why? Because I got to go put the music sharing back on. I took it off for, give me a second here.
Oh,
There we
hold on.
go.
I have breaking news from my sideline correspondent. The truffle powder is from Pampered Chef. This was breaking news brought to me before we signed off.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to play the outro. There we go. Thank you for the breaking news. Amadeus, it's been a pure delight getting to know you. Thank you.
It's been
Thank
great
you.
being here. Thanks for having me.
Sharing. Let's dance our way out. My newest, you're cool dude number 48. I've got 2 more to go before November. I'm meeting my goal of 50 in 1 year. There you go. Okay, everybody, take care. We're going to lower the music. Thank you to Serge Hoffman for adding to my lyrics, adding the music and the voice. Bye.